वज़ीर ख़ज़ाना इशाक़ डार ने कहा है कि भारतीय रहनुमाओं के पाकिस्तान मुखालिफ बयानात से इलाकाई इस्तेहकाम को ख़तरा है। पाकिस्तान को बैरूनी स्पॉन्सर्ड दहशतगर्दी का सामना है। मकबूजा जम्मू और कश्मीर में भारत निहत्ते कश्मीरियों पर मज़ालिम ढा रहा है। OIC जम्मू कश्मीर से मुतालिक एक्शन प्लान पर अमल दरामद करे। वज़ीर ख़ारिजा इशाक़ डार ने कहा है भारतीय रहनुमाओं के पाकिस्तान मुखालिफ बयानात से इलाकाई इस्तेहकाम को ख़तरा है। पाकिस्तान को बैरूनी स्पॉन्सर्ड दहशतगर्दी का सामना है। मकबूजा जम्मू और कश्मीर में भारत निहत्ते कश्मीरियों पर मज़ालिम ढा रहा है। OIC जम्मू कश्मीर से मुतालिक एक्शन प्लान पर अमल दरामद करे। गैम्बिया में इस्लामी ताउन तंजीम OIC के सरबराह इजलास से खिताब में इशाक़ डार ने कहा मकबूजा जम्मू कश्मीर में भारत निहत्ते कश्मीरियों पर मज़ालिम ढा रहा है। OIC जम्मू कश्मीर से मुतालिक इस तमाम तर सूरत हाल पर अमल दरामद करे। वज़ीर ख़ारिजा अपने खिताब में गाज़ा में जारी इसराइल के वहशियाना हमलों में गहरी तशवीश का इजहार करते कहा कि OIC ममालिक गाज़ा में जंगबंदी पर मिलकर काम करें। उन्होंने खुद मुख्तार फ़लस्तीनी रियासत अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में इसकी मुकम्मल रुकनीत के लिए हिमायत का भी अयादा किया। इशाक़ डार ने यह भी कहा मकबूजा जम्मू कश्मीर में भारत निहत्ते कश्मीरियों पर मुज़ालिम ढा रहा है। उनका कहना था कि इस्लामोफोबिया और मुसलमानों के खिलाफ इम्तियाजी सलूक की मज़म्मत करते हैं। OIC की जानिब से इस्लामोफोबिया पर खुसूसी एलची की तकर्रुरी काबिल सताइश है। वज़ीर ख़ारिजा ने कहा कि OIC आलमी इक़्तिसादी तरक्की में अपना अहम किरदार अदा कर सकती है।
And international law, including the 4th Geneva Convention and India's own commitments and obligations. Excellencies and Mr. Chairman, we express our deep gratitude to all OIC member states for their unwavering support for the right to self-determination of the Kashmiris and for the rejection of the India's illegal and unilateral actions of 5th of August 2019. In order to promote the Kashmir cause, we must implement the OIC action plan on Jammu and Kashmir. We must demand that India halts all human rights violations and release Hurriyat leaders, and we should also try to reverse its illegal demographic and other unilateral changes. Mr. Chairman, we strongly condemn the surge in anti-Pakistan rhetoric and Islamophobic narratives by India's political leaders during the ongoing Lok Sabha elections. Their rhetoric marginalizes Muslims and threatens regional stability. The violent implementation of Hindutva ideology warrants close international scrutiny. The United Nations and the OIC must closely monitor the situation. Mr. Chairman, one of the strongest binding elements among us is our unwavering belief in Tawheed and finality of the prophethood, as well as our genetically rooted love and devotion to the persona, family, companions, and the message of the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. Unfortunately, widespread and unfettered availability of distorted anti-Islamic content and stereotyping of Islam, its timeless values and its reverse personalities have become one of the biggest sources of interfaith conflict as of now. I would therefore urge my fellow excellencies to formulate a joint strategy to influence global information networks, platforms, particularly the global social media platforms, to harmonize their application of content regulation policies for blasphemous, anti-Islamic and Islamophobia content. I would propose adoption of a joint resolution by OIC clearly laying down a mechanism for emerging with these global corporates through a control coordination group at the OIC which Pakistan volunteers to steer. The resolution must also include a set of standardized policy actions by OIC members, including those that involve their commercial interests should these social media platforms fail to cooperate on this matter of utmost importance concerning for the entire Ummah. I would like to appreciate that through concerted efforts of the OIC, the United Nations General Assembly designated 15th March as the International Day to combat Islamophobia. On 15th of March this year, the UN General Assembly also adopted another OIC resolution to combat Islamophobia, including the appointment of a UN Special Envoy. We must work in concert with the UN Secretary General and the UN Special Envoy to develop an action plan to combat Islamophobia, including number one, a comprehensive compendium of Islamophobic incidents, a template for national legislation, an accountability mechanism for prosecution and legal support to victims. Two, mapping of threatened Islamic religious and heritage sites, measures to counter Islamophobic and hate speech online, and initiatives to address the root causes and impact of Islamophobia. Mr. Chairman, despite contributing the most to the fight against terrorism, unfortunately, Pakistan continues to face externally financed, sponsored, and supported terrorism from across our borders. The OSCE should work collectively with the United Nations to combat all forms of terrorism as well as to eliminate terrorist groups like ISIS, K, and the TTP. Mr. Chairman, the OSCE should encourage the Afghan interim government to uphold its international obligations regarding counterterrorism, women's rights, and